Good evening. My fringe is too long and my studio is a gargantuan mess right now. Check this out. Nightmare scenario. I can't get my camera to move down. Oh, hang on. Oh no, we're starting the video so badly. Hang on, wait. Look at this. Look at this mess. And this. It's all a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And that's what we're here to clean up. And we're once again holding for plane. Okay, tonight, it's already late. It's probably 9:30 at this rate. I have no clue what time it is. It's late, it's dark. I've been in here for hours and I'm kind of cooking a little bit because it's really hot. However, if you have been following me for 10 years or more, you would know these shelves. You would recognize these shelves from my very first studio in Darlinghurst, my original studio that I had these custom designed for when I was like 19. You know, as you do at 19. CNC'd them, designed them, put them together. Was very pleased with myself, and I had them custom designed for these little tiny boxes. I was very inspired by a Casey Neistat video that might not even be online anymore. Who knows? But anyway, stole that idea right off him, and I decided that I wanted one for myself. These have been literally in storage for, I don't know, the better part of half a decade, maybe more, maybe 8 years at this rate. I couldn't put them up anywhere because I got kicked out of that studio, and then I didn't have one for a long time until I moved to the City of Sydney one, which was a heritage listed building, and I couldn't screw anything into the walls there. So for the longest time, these have been living with my dad, who has taken very good care of them and also put his own boxes in and was rather disappointed to give them back to me. But tonight we are here to have a nice time together and we're going to stock the shelves. But before we do that, I need to chug some cold, okay? I need to chug some cold. That's what's going to happen right now because I'm thirsty. Oh my God. I've just discovered that my studio, which is on top of a warehouse, I've discovered that the warehouse downstairs has a chilled ice water refrigerated bubbler / water cooler, which I'm very pleased about because I've been bringing in like a metal bottle full of ice water to get through the day here. But now I just have my delightful hay jug, which I can go downstairs and get icy cold little water to chug while I hang out and do my work in my hot, very hot studio. And you might be wondering, Ruby, why don't you drink out of a cup? You know what? I paid $250 for this jug. I want to drink directly out of it. I'm the only person that drinks from it. It's mine and it's my cup and it's my jug and I can do what I want because I'm having a nice time. Okay? That's the rule of this new show. I'm having a nice time. You're having a nice time. Okay? Do you see this? Have a nice time with me. Okay? Let's get started. So, the Casey Neistat video back in the day he had like, I don't know, 21 boxes, 24 boxes, something like that basically had all of his little knick-knack things. All of his little knick-knack things that were like part of his studio, but he didn't really have a place for it, but they sort of went together and he needed a place to store them. So he had these cool shelves that didn't really look like this, but sort of looked similar to this. And then I was like, I would like that to have in my space. So what I did was I sort of categorized all of my little shit and I put it all together in these little boxes. Honestly, these boxes were more expensive than the shelves because this is like the cheapest plywood money can buy. And the boxes are from Muji, my beautiful favorite Muji of all time. Muji Town Hall. Thank you, Muji, for your service. I haven't sorted these. They're just stacked from when I moved in here. And so I'm going to tell you all about them one by one. And then we're going to find the right space for them because I kind of want this situation to have like a little bit of cohesion, if you will. You know, I want the columns and the rows just sort of feel like a collective noun. I don't know. What's a collective noun for a group of boxes? Maybe we'll come up with one. A scattering of boxes, a grid of boxes. That could be nice. Let's go with a grid of boxes. We're going to make a grid of boxes. I'm going to tell you what's in all of them. Maybe I'll pull some fun stuff out because there is some fun like archival stuff in some of them. And yeah, hope you'll just come and chill with me. This is the new vibe. I'm not going to edit anything, like I said in my last video, and we're just going to have a nice time. It's kind of like a mix between a live stream and a video, because there are parts of live streaming that I miss, like not having to edit anything, and parts of live streaming that I don't miss, like the sexual harassment. All right, first box. What have we got? Cable ties, string, rope. This is your basic. It's broken. That's fun. This is your basic little, holders, string, bits for stuff. I'm a big cable tie person. I love cable tying things together. They're so useful. It's like a non-permanent screw. I know they're terrible for the environment. This is not off to a good start. I think I want to put like holdy stuff fairly easy to grab. So I'm going to start with this here. I might move it. We're going to move things around as we sort of discover the right place for each thing to go. And I am going to adjust this ever so slightly so you can see the whole shelf. That's better. Okay, now you can see the whole shelf. You can't really see each little thing in detail, but that's what the camera is for. I'll bring it up close to you so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, the other thing that I was going to tell you is that I actually didn't realize this until like 10 minutes ago, is that I never actually completed the shelves. So I still have like 6 spaces left for new stuff, which is so good because I have so much stuff and I always need more spots to put my stuff. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to put in the empty slots. Maybe you can help me. All right, next box. Box number 2. Oh my God, there's so much stuff in here. I'm going to knock half of this stuff over, I reckon, in the evening while I'm here because I'm not paying attention. This is, what is it? Fabric offcuts and strips. Now, I've been collecting these for many a year. These are just basic, very basic fabric offcuts. But I've been keeping them because I hate textile waste with a passion. And very, very slowly but very surely I am making a offcut quilt, which I'm maybe about 2 centimeters the way through. It's going to take a very long time to sew all the little tiny pieces together, which is not really something I thought about when I started this project. I was like, how hard can it be? It's a quilt. You just sew it in a straight line. Wrong, okay? It takes forever. And when you have little itty bitty pieces, like I do, little tiny little pieces that you collect because you don't want them to go to waste, you have to sew all of them together. And I didn't realize that when I started. Okay? I didn't realize that. And now I have 10,000 pieces of fabric to sew together to make one single bloody quilt. Anywho, we're going to put the sewing stuff here for the time being. Mainly because I kind of don't really need it. It's like more of a slow burn sort of thing. Now also what I want you to see here is I have my big workbench here. This is where I do chopping. This is where I do sewing. This is where I this is like my maker bench. And then I have my desk like behind us where I do my computer work and my printing out. So this area, I've had the shelf put up sort of functionally like overlapping the desk, which is good because what I want to have basically is like the key workstation, which is this sort of corner area where it's like this stuff and maybe this. So maybe I might actually move this here. This stuff is the important stuff. This is the stuff that I want to be able to get like instantly, so quick. I know exactly where it is. This stuff is kind of more for like archive because it's kind of a little bit harder to reach and it's just less important, but it's still nice. This stuff over here, I kind of want to be, I guess, just like more a little bit more open, more connected to the rest of the space. So like most of my sewing stuff is kind of over there. So I kind of want the sewing stuff to be like right at the end because I don't really need it. But it's not archival, if that makes sense. They're still open projects. What else was I going to show you? Oh, yes. Oh! My studio mates, Ella and Izzy, have been also collecting little bits of fabric for me. So I really kind of maybe need a bigger offcut box, or I need to just start committing more time to the quilt, because this is already getting out of control, because Ella and Izzy do a lot more sewing than I do. But like, let me show you. Like, how cute is that? I don't want that to go to waste. That's too cute. That should be on a thing. Look at them. Ah, they're adorable. Okay. Anyway, fabric offcuts, they're away. They're done. Next box. Let's do this one, because this is sort of a main character. This is a main character box. This is holders, S-hooks, clips, key rings, command strips. This is my special box. Okay, I love this box. It's full of all of the things that I need all the time. Let me show you. Hang on a second. I'm so boiling hot. Hold for plain. You can check your phone if you like. I don't mind. I really couldn't care less. If you're scrolling, perfect. Put me on in the background. I'll chitty chat to you while you scroll on your tiny rectangle. We can have that kind of arrangement together, I think. That's fine. Blue tack, very useful. Paper clips, very useful. More paper clips. What else have we got in here? Key rings. I use these all the time. You never know when you're going to need a keyring. I need these constantly. That's why I have so many of them. What else? S-hooks. I also use these constantly. Command strips. This is a great box. I also have this really cute little like glasses holder, like a little old lady glasses holder, which I thought I was going to wear. And I spent, I want to say like $50 on it from like this really schmancy store in Surrey Hills. And I never wore it because it just wasn't my vibe, sadly. But I can't let go of it because it's so cute. And I'm like, maybe one day I'll like it when I'm 80 or something. I don't know. Anyway, holders box. This is definitely a main character box. So I think I'm going to put it front and center. Very easy to get to. Right underneath cable ties, string and rope. Good. We're making progress. What's next? Paint pens and markers. This is kind of a good box. I don't do heaps of paint pen stuff, but when I need them, I've got like a nice collection of them. Hang on. Oh, it's okay. This smells really toxic. There's just a buttload of different permanent markers and paint pens in here. This quite literally smelled like gasoline when I just opened it then. This is horrifying. Paint pens and markers I feel like I'm going to put maybe in here just for now, because this is what I'm not sure about. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. This is my print archive. Should we have a quick look through it? I think so. Let's do that. These are some mini prints. These are my salami prints. More salami prints because I did a second batch of them. Now, the thing about archiving is that it's important to keep multiple copies. So I keep 2 of every print that I make. I keep 2 of everything that I make. And I like to display them like this just because they just seem cool like that. These are my studio prints from last year. These are my gingham prints from Japan that I did. 21 master risograph print. Very fun to work on. This is my bus station print, also from Japan. I'm very pleased with how that one turned out because it's like airbrush. And all of the airbrushing turned out like thousands of little tiny dots. Risograph printing is so interesting because it's like heat map dot. It's so cool. These are my calendars, which you can't really see because they're very, very fine line. And these are my piece prints, which I will upload to the internet soon. And then the rest of it's like client work that isn't released yet, so I can't show you. Sorry. Next box. What have we got? Buttons. Okay, I could literally spend a very long time going through this box because it has my button collection in it. There's so many cute things in here. Oh my god, no. So the thing is that I'm going to spend literally the next half an hour going through every single one of these buttons and crying over them all because they're so fucking cute. Look at these. I've been collecting these for so long. I've hunted them down. They're these little mice buttons. Can you see? They're little tiny mice. They're so cute. Look at this. And I have them in like all these different colors. Every time I find one, I am over the moon with joy. I've got red, pink, purple, and then what else have I got? I don't have orange. That's the only thing. I've got 2 different blues. Like, they must have made every single color of the rainbow with these. And the one that I can't find still is orange. I really should start looking for them again. Green, and then yellow and white. If I can get them together. Hang on. Look. Yellow and white. Come on, focus. You can do it, Mr. Camera. There they are. So cute. Yeah, little tiny mice buttons. I've got all sorts of vintage buttons from like antique stores and baby buttons. Don't have a baby. Just thought they were cute. I've had these since I was like, I don't know, 16. More flower buttons. These are so cute. These are like fluoro pink in real life. What else? This is like such a little treasure trove. These are like little, hang on. These are little like different types of buttons, but I found them in like 1s and 2s. And again, this is my problem, is that I can't really bear to put them on anything because they're so precious to me that I don't want to waste them. But really, I should just use them. I should just put them on like a jacket or a button down or something, because it really doesn't take that long. And they're so adorable. You have to focus, Mr. Camera. Focus, please. No! Hang on. Will it focus? Hold for plane. Hold for plane. Oh my god. There you go. Hold for plane. Anyway, the buttons box, lovely as it is, it has to go somewhere. Look at these tiny corns. Hello? I also have a lot of beads for when I thought I was going to get into beading, and then actually just spent $50 on beads and then never did anything with it because I like to hoard items that are pink and blue and purple and yellow and green and orange. Buttons are going to go right here. Next box. What do we have? This is a fun box also. This is stamps. Stamps, ink, and punches. This has got like lots of stamps from lots of different times. What have we got in here? Now, from my last video, you would have seen these. These are my little tiny like block stamps. And I do have more of them, but I actually don't know where they are right this second. Hang on. I have like this little date stamp that's quite useful. And just some cute colored ink. Very nice. This little fun stamp, which I think is like a shoji screen that I got from Japan. Old studio stamps of mine. I used to do like a studio stamp every year, and then I kind of stopped doing it, and then I started doing it again last year, and like I try to make a new one every year, and I actually haven't made mine yet, so I kind of need to get on to doing that so that whenever somebody comes to a market or like a zine fair of mine, they can stop at my table and get a little stamp to say that they've been there, which I think is just really fun and sweet because I was inspired by the like eki stamps, Japanese station stamps, which is just like, yeah, you go to the station, you get a little stamp to say that you've been there, and you just collect them. So I was like, I want to make that, but for my studio. This is also a little name stamp that a friend of mine had made for me. My first trip to Japan. I don't really use it because it's not really a popular thing here. But it's just cute. It's just cute to put on like a little letter or something to be like, it's from Ruby, and then you put your little Ruby stamp on it. This is like the world's tiniest little like shop. Oh, come on. It's got to focus. Anyway, it's a tiny shop stamp, which I am now actually using for my year calendar. Whenever I have a market, I'm going to stamp it the day. I'm going to stamp the day with the tiny shop stamp. Very fun, very cute. I also have some other stamps to add in there. I've got 2 big stamps. One of them is my return to sender stamp, which I got made recently, which has been so useful for like sending Christmas cards and like mail and stuff. And this address is just to a business, so it's not actually my house address, so I'm not worried about being doxxed because it's in a secure location. And then another one is actually for my mum. She's an artist, and I do printing for her. So the big stamp actually goes on the back of her prints to like denote which run it came from, which edition, that sort of thing. So it means that she doesn't have to handwrite them. She can just stamp the back and then sign it, which is pretty fun. And then lastly, I have this little stamp, which is like a tiny, like a loyalty card stamp, which I have my studio address on. And I put that on every envelope at markets. So if you've come to a market and you get a zine off me or a print or whatever, when I package it up, I stamp this to be like, you have been here, you received an item, and I have stamped it because it's genuine. And then I just have a giant ink packet that I've been hanging on to because I knew it had to go in the stamp box. But the stamp box was not available, so it's just been sitting on my desk for months. Stamps and inks and punches, maybe we'll go with paint pens? I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll put it here for now, but I think we might do some moving around as well. What else? This is cases. This is a strange little box. This has got fabric in it that doesn't belong there, so that can come out and go somewhere else. Fabric offcuts that also don't belong in there that can go somewhere else. And then we just have some little Muji cases and like this little pencil case from my favorite artist, Milk Baby. I love this artist so much. Hello? No, I can talk. Yeah? Oh, okay. Okay. Bye. Anyway, cute little phone case that I don't use as a pencil case because it's too precious to me, and my favorite artist made it, and I just keep it in here for whenever I want to look at it and cry. That's going to go all the way up here, I think. Maybe up here, because I don't really use them that often, but sometimes like I'll buy just like a bunch of cases from like Muji or Daiso or something, and like I'll use them for packing up an order or putting a little gift together. So it's kind of just good to have some occasionally just to use, but I don't use them very often. What else? Oh, this is a fun one. Oh, it's the heaviest box by far. It's just batteries. That's it. That's all it is. I have 1,000 batteries in here because you never know when you're going to need a bunch of batteries. Nice and safe. And I also have, this is actually one of the most useful purchases I've ever made. This is a battery reader, and you wouldn't think that you'd need one of these. You wouldn't think so. But when you think you've got a battery that's like, have I had this for 10 years? Have I had it for 1 year? Where did it come from? Hold for plane. There's a lot of planes at my studio, and I'm sorry about that. But there's literally nothing I can do. Anyway, this is really useful because I have a lot of batteries where I'm like, I don't know where that came from, and I don't know if it's still safe to use, but I don't want to throw it out because it's bad to throw batteries out, and I don't want to take it to the store and throw it out over there if it's going to be still full of battery juice. Battery box. Don't know where this is going to go yet. Maybe I'll start a new column. It's kind of not super necessary. Maybe I'll put it in here and we'll see how it goes. What have we got next? We have screws. Great box. Big fan of this box. This box got me through this move. I needed screws for this. I needed screws for my shelves over there. I needed screws for my desk. I needed screws for the little crappy shelf that I put up that's not straight. Do you want to see it? Oh no. It's not good. It's very badly done. I did not measure it. But I don't care because it's just for little stuff, so who cares, whatever. Anyway, screws box. We've got the goat chipboard screws. We've got more chipboard screws. After that, we've got chipboard screws, a different packet. And then what else? We have not one, but 2 other packets of chipboard screws. And then following on from that, we have some chipboard screws that are slightly different and a little bit flat. We have a big giant box of chipboard screws that I have never opened. And I swear we used to have some other chipboard screws in here, but maybe not. I could be wrong. Oh yeah, here they are. Chipboard screws in white. Great box. Just absolutely fantastic box. Huge fan of this box. Oh, and we also have finally some of these little star plugs, which come in a fun little packet, which you need if you're going to drill into the wall. You need these because then the screw won't fall out of the wall. Screws box. Oh, it's not shining. Let's just ignore it for a little bit. This is going to go, I think, here because I use these all the time because I'm a graphic designer. This is a very silly time of my life. Okay. We have a nice and simple box. Adhesives, glue, and tape. Great box also. This is going to go with the other holdy things. Okay, this is, can you see it? Holding things up. Adhering things. Hold for plane. The plane is flying over. We have in here glue sticks, tape. What I also need to do probably is find the other glue sticks of that I own, just because they're around everywhere. And I also have these like sticky dot things. I have sticky dots aplenty and also just so much super glue that I probably am not authorized to use because I'm the sort of person that would stick my fingers together with super glue. I already cut part of my thumb off with a guillotine, so really I probably shouldn't be allowed around super glue. But anyway, we're putting it in the holdy column, the holdy aisle. I need to fix this screw box. Hang on. It's not shutting and it's going to bother me. That's better. Okay. Ooh. What do we have next? Coasters. This is cute. More fabric. But it's very nice fabric. Look at this. Oh, it's so cute. It's so pretty. Now, would I ever make anything out of this? Probably not. It's not really my style. But it's so pretty and I had to buy some. This. Now look at her. Oh, that's some nice. That's some nice gingham. I love gingham with all my heart. If there's anything that I love, it is little tiny squares and little gingham, and we're holding for another plane. What time is it? What time is it that this many planes are going over the fucking sky? I don't know. I truly don't know. Then there's some fun little tie-dye sort of stuff, little crimpline something. These are all just samples that I bought because I simply liked the look of them and I just wanted to have some just to have. These are probably going to go in the quilt, I'd say. I'll probably cut them up into offcuts. In this little tub that we have are tiny little vintage coasters and some modern ones like from the Grifter. that I have just collected over the years, because I'm a big fan of pub coasters, and I'm a big fan of really strange ones like this. And I love just old school print. I'm just a big fan of it. So I have a big collection of them, and one day I'd like to get them all framed. I also have a lot of old school Cantina OK coasters from when I frequented that bar, because somebody that I had a big fat crush on worked there, and that person no longer works there, and I have a lovely boyfriend now, but that was, I have so many coasters from that time in my life, which is very funny. And now I'm getting a little bit embarrassed for saying that. Let's have some water. Any hoomst. Coasters, more archival. Not really going anywhere, but the archive, they can go up here for safekeeping. Next up, we have a little box that's got some film in it. Now, this is kind of a regularly turning over box because I use up my film, obviously. But sometimes I get things like this where I'm like, I don't have a, emergency need to use it, but it's good to have. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to have like a cool, fun film stock to use and like experiment and play around on. So that's where I keep it. And I have a bit of Instax film and some old film canisters. And I also have these puppies, which are like cute little Instax filters. And I actually don't even own an Instax camera anymore because the last one I owned broke, and the one before that broke, and the one before that broke, and they're actually just terrible, terrible cameras. So I don't actually really need the Instax stuff anymore, and I should probably just pass it on to somebody that has it. But for the time being, it's just going to live in the film box, and I think the film box maybe is going to live maybe under cases for the time being. I'm not really sure where that's going to go. Gloves. Gloves are incredible. If you know that reference, congratulations. I have 1,000 of these extra small tattooing gloves. I'm not a tattoo artist, but these gloves are just highly capable, highly competent, can deal with any chemical that you throw on it. Not that I'm really handling that many chemicals in my life, but I bought high quality tattooing gloves because they fit really well, and they're not powdered. They have like they're made of different stuff. I think it's nitrile instead of latex. So they're not powdered. They're just like a, what's the word? They're just better. Okay. They're just a superior glove. And when I'm working, especially like Rizzo ink, when I'm working with Rizzo ink all day and like paper, I like to put these on because it doesn't like cook my fingers. And like if I'm handling a lot of paper, my fingers tend to get really like blistered from the oil on my fingers drying out from touching so much paper. So I like to have these because they fit really well, and I still have that tactile finger experience, and I can handle single pieces of paper still without losing like feel in my fingers. But it's the glove. It protects your fingers from damage. So I'm going to put this in a new aisle, which is going to be like the safety PPE column, because there is more PPE somewhere, and I know that it's somewhere, and it's one of these boxes here. This next box is very sweet. This is called, if you can see it, this is called Play Kill Stuff. Now, I don't know if you know, but back in the day, very, very far back in the day, when I was like 16 to 20, I would say, I had a little original character called Play Kill Space Cadet, and that was the basis of my entire Instagram page and all of the digital art that I made. And I made like a few little products that I could, barely afford to make, and I wanted it to be like a story. I wanted it to be in like an animation one day, and be an original character whose story came to life. And that dream was slowly but surely crushed, but not in a way that I don't remember it fondly. I think back in the day, I had big but I didn't really have like a developed skill. But But I did all sorts of like little things. Like I did little cross stitches, and I made my own washi tape, which is very cute. And I made these, what are they? These are like Game Boy, but they're like Play Kill Game Boy ones. So if like my character was in a video game. And I also made these Animal Crossing pins, which in my defense sold really well. They were a very popular pin of mine back in the day. I also made these little tiny pins as well. I think back when I was young, I didn't realize that you had to build years of brand loyalty and like character loyalty before you can get away with just putting like your logo on something and selling it. So, you know, I learned a lot of lessons making these things, and I still look at it with a lot of fondness. What else have I got in here? Oh, I have these little patches. That was my logo. It was like a little planet with some little stars. Honestly, like I'm not mad. I did a cute job. I did the best that I could with the resources that I had, and I learned a lot about manufacturing in this time because I love manufacturing. I love making products. Hold for plane, please. Posture check. Are you sitting up straight? Are you drinking enough water? I'm not. Definitely not. Let's drink some water now, together. Are you ready? Chug some cold with me. Cheers. I love drinking out of a jug. It's actually the best thing ever. This was another like game style patch. This is like a jumbo patch. It's like 9 centimeters. And I was learning how to do like isometric illustration. And I have just a bunch of old postcards, little postcards. I have my literal mobile number on the back of these because I had no clue back in the day what doxing was. So I will not be showing you the back because I have my quite literal mobile number on this, which is crazy. This is another isometric illustration that I did, which I love. I'm still very proud of this. I think it's very cute. And some more pixel art. I really liked pyramids back in the day. This was sort of, I would say, around the time that like Steven Universe Season 1 was out. So I was very inspired by those aesthetics. And like these are like just some little grassy textures. Again, like not mad at this work. I don't think it's very cohesive, but you know, again, I was experimenting a lot and I was doing the best that I could. These are my little packaging wallets that are very, very cute. And I still make these from time to time. I don't have anything in here. I would save packaging from little Japanese snacks that I would buy overseas. And I would bring them back and I would cover them in contact paper and I would make like little wallets out of them because they sold really well. And so I would save hundreds of packets of like 2-minute noodles and high chews and, you know, just random little esoteric snacks that I would find like in Asian supermarkets and, you know, just any cool basically any cool packaging that I could find. And then I would make a little wallet out of it. And I have so many of them like still flat packed, like ready to sell. So I should probably just pull them back out because they did do well. And, it's kind of a nice way to like reuse something that you would otherwise throw in the trash. My dad still has his from like 8 years ago. And I've met people like at agencies, at like design agencies. I've met people who bought one off me when I was, you know, 21, 22 at art fairs and zine fairs and stuff. Hold for plane, please. The planes are really annoying. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I I have a very big soft spot for this box, and I think that you shouldn't look back at the art that you made when you were young and still experimenting with anything other than love, because you were trying your best and you were experimenting and you were learning. And I look at these things now and I know that the foundation of what I have at this stage in my career and at this stage in my life and at this stage in my art skill and my design skill, like, I owe to this person. I owe to the person that was making these things, because they were doing it completely blind and they were figuring it out for me. And I'm like, how could I not love that? And how could I not be grateful to know that? So yeah, that's going to stay here forever. And I'll probably be buried with it. But this is going to go up in the archive section because I don't usually take it out. It's just it just lives there because there's nowhere else to put it. This box, this is a fun little box called Inspo. I wonder what's in here. These probably are quite old. I would say this hasn't been looked at for maybe 6 or 7 years-ish. This was Inspo from a little bit after that time. So maybe 5 or 6 years, I'd say. This was sort of when I was getting more into graphic design as instead of illustration. What have we got here? My old studio keys, which I do not have access to, and the building quite literally does not exist anymore. It got knocked down and built into fancy apartments or something. I have some cute little matchboxes because I really liked the graphics on them, and I've got lots of different matchboxes in here. This is an old cocktail bar. Like, look at that. That's awesome. That's so cool. It's so simple. What's this one? The Philips K9. Color so natural, it's almost like being there. I have these little toots. And I have some little stampers that I made. These are just like literally pieces of dowel with little shapes that I cut out on, I think, a bandsaw or a jigsaw. I don't know. Hold for plane. This is a tiny little tin full of valve caps. No idea what a valve cap is. Probably something automotive, I'd say. What else have I got in here? Just more tins. Love a vintage tin. Very cute. I think there's probably like needles and thread in here. Correct. Needles and thread. That's a bit boring. Oh, this is my first little Doraemon. I remember getting him. I got him in Osaka in 2015. So I've had him for 10 years. He's just a tiny little Doraemon. And I think he was from a gachapon machine. He was from a train station, actually. He's a train conductor. He was from a gachapon machine in a train station, and I'm almost positive it was Akihabara. I could be wrong, but I would hazard a guess that that's where it's from. And what are those? These are tiny little people in a box, which is so tiny I can't even show you. Anyway, I think I should fill this up with like more stuff from this time in my life and like keep adding to it every year until it's full. I think that would be very cute. For now, this is also going to go in the sort of archival area because it's not super necessary for daily use, but I do like to have it sort of with me. Next box is keychains. This is a great box. This is my full sort of archival keychain collection of all sorts of stuff that I've bought over the years, mainly from Milk Baby, who's my favorite artist of all time. Literally, without question, I would quite literally die for him. This is the difference between two of these chain keychains, one of which I used every day and one of them that I bought just for archival purposes to keep new. Like, look at how yellowed and worn this one is. I love his stuff so much. These were a little set. Oh my God. I love his work so much. It just brings me so much joy. These are like these little teddy bear charms that had matching, like, sort of not cable-y knit cable things. I was always so impressed with, his name's Justin. I was always really impressed with Justin's ability to customize things that were, I think, relatively simple to manufacture, but like customize them in a way that made them feel like they were completely customized, like completely new products that had never been made before. Like just with doing things like adding like little bits of hardware, like these little charms, and like just little details, like, you know, logo on the back, and like custom writing like on the cord. Like, I don't know how he did it. And this was right around the time that I was doing like the Playkill stuff. So I was collecting this stuff and just in complete awe at his ability to manufacture things and like make products. And these things are like still massive sources of inspiration for me today. This is just like a basic Carhartt belt, not that inspiring, but, you know, still cool. I like the hardware on it. These are by my friend. Oh no, these are not by my friend. These are little Astro Girl and Astro Boy keychains, like little like vinyl ones. Super cute. Whoop. This is another Milk Baby, like a vinyl, little soft vinyl guy. Love him. This was a black variation of the same keychain that like came out later. This was kind of like a little devil one, but there wasn't a bear to go with it, sadly. We have another little guy, pink and blue versions, his and hers. I have Moomin ones. I have this like little illustration one. I was addicted to this Procreate brush. Like, he had made this and I tried so desperately to remake it. It's like a little pixel brush. What else? This is like this is like one of my favorite boxes. Another guy, a third guy. I spent so much money. I spent so many of my dollars when I was like 20 trying to buy everything that Milk Baby ever made. I've got, these are all from Andy. Hang on. Let me hang them up for you. These are by my friend Andy. A little frog and like a little guy and a girl. The frog ended up being kind of like a little freaky little character on my stream back in the day. I would do this like freaky echo voice, and I would put a voice modulator on and play this freaky music and be the void frog. So cute. Please hold for plane while we wait for the plane to go. We have a like tin Milk Baby drawing, and this is a little charm that I made while I was working for Flex Mummy, and I don't think I have any of the keychains that I made by her, which I'm really bummed about, in here. They might be in a different box though. We might be able to find them another time. This is one by a little skate brand called Lo-Fi, super cute little vinyl one. Another Lo-Fi one that broke, but still very fun, just like a little pencil, kind of a soft vinyl, soft rubber. This little unopened alien by my friend Andy Pants, who's a brilliant designer. What else have I got in here? This is another just cute, who made that? I honestly have no idea. I got this in Japan. This is like just like another like little key holder. And this one is the piece de resistance. I love this keyring so much. Another Milk Baby yet again. I just love the hardware. It's such a cute like unit. It's such a perfect unit. I would love to make something like this one day. And I should. I don't know why I don't, aside from copying, but, making my own spin of it, I think would be really fun. This is a really cool like vintage. This goes around your belt. So this is like a belt loop. It goes through here and then you clip your keys to it, or your key rings. like that. Hang on, let me see if I can find my keys, or I'll just clip a keychain to it. What should I clip to it? I'll clip this one. So it would like, you'd put this in your belt loop, and then you'd have like a perfect clip for your daily use. Like that. So cool. This is from like, I don't know, maybe the 60s. I remember getting it at Mitchell Road, so it's definitely like an antique. Yeah, I love this box. This is a great box. A very big favorite of mine to go through, and you know, it is funny when you sort of collect things and you put them in a box and you don't look at them for ages, but to me, these pieces of design are so important to just have and own and hold on to, and like, you know, keep as part of your personal collection of things, because I feel like things like keychains and stuff get overlooked as part of like a designer's body of work, but these objects are like these beautiful little pieces of design that get used in everyday life. And I feel like even though they're like cheap and I don't know, they're more like affordable and they're less like a piece of art per se, I just think they're special, and I think they're like worth admiring for the craftsmanship and the design and you know, the attention to detail. But that's just me. This is also going to go in the archive section because I don't use them all the time, and they are more just special to keep. Next, we have zine components. Now, this box is really just sort of like it's a funny one, because I buy things that I think one day might make a good zine. Some of it's binding stuff. A lot of it is binding stuff. So like these make like quite a nice little easy bind for like small zines. And then there's like these sort of like file clip thingies. I don't know. Oh, I just dropped that on the floor. Sorry. See these? They like clip onto like a hole punch. And I was like, that could be fun to bind a zine with. So I bought like 25 of them, even though I've never used them. These like hole punchy things. Like I just buy them just to have, in case I get inspired to make something that has like a certain, these are like more hole punch, but they're kind of like minimalist Muji binding things. I don't know. They're just fun to have, and they're useful for like, yeah, if I make a small run of zines that I want to bind in like a cool way, then I will come to the binding box and I will find a cool zine component to use. I think I'm going to put these up here. They sort of feel useful to go with like the stamps and stuff, because stamps are kind of zine related. Last 3 boxes. Oh my God. This is just personal protective equipment, PPE. That's going to go right above gloves. As you can see. It's really about safety here. Okay, we take safety very seriously. And speaking as somebody who quite literally sliced part of my thumb off with a guillotine, not once, but twice, I think it's really important that you listen to the safety facts and follow the instructions, and don't be silly when you're handling equipment. Always wear things like safety glasses, gloves. These are like little finger protectors, and you know, I think it's really important that you really pay attention to your safety at all times. So this is an important box. You know, I'm going to put this special piece of equipment away because I don't want to mess around with it, and I don't want to make fun of how critical protecting yourself is when you're in a manufacturing environment. Anyway, they're going in here, right above gloves. PPE, gloves, great stuff. Finally, second to last, we have miniature envelopes and paper. This is a fun box. I love little tiny paper. I make a lot of paper packs because I love like collecting paper, but I don't necessarily use it all. What do I got in here? These are just some basic envelopes. They're not really that fun. But I have these little tiny envelopes. Look at this. This is a miniature pay stub envelope. What would you use that for practically? I have no idea. But putting a little note in it for a little friend to have, to get in the mail, very fun, very charming. So charming. I love it. This is a little week sticky note that I use occasionally. And I have some little tiny laminating pouches, which are also actually quite useful. And I have a use for them coming up. So stay tuned. And then just like very basic envelopes. These are going to go, I think, maybe here. Yeah, maybe here. So like zine stuff and art making stuff. And then we have, last of all, before it's time to go, is patches. This is sort of like my, just my little patch collection from over the years. I have little things like this where I've bought them from like fabric stores, like vintage fabric stores or places that are, closed down, or old ones from like Passport. And, I have so many fun patches in here. Just really cute. Again, I do think preserving things like this, like these little pieces of design that are, I feel like they're a little bit overlooked. I feel like because they're sort of cheap to make and they're things that, a lot of young people collect, and a lot of young, a lot of young designers sort of use this medium to do illustrations and make little products that they can sell and things like that. I do feel like the design world tends to overlook them as pieces of good design. So I have a nice archive of the ones that I really like that I collected when I was a little bit younger, and I do think it's important to keep them and respect them as pieces of design. These are going to go, I think, up here, even though I would usually put them in the archive. I think I'm going to put them with the sewing stuff because there are a few like clothing labels and things like that of mine in there that I would probably just like access to at some point later down the line. I think I will also, now that I've put all of my boxes up, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces left for other boxes in the future. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to at least make one box for pins, like enamel pins, because I think, again, like patches, that is like a very big, like, overlooked design format, and I have heaps of them and that I would like to keep. That's definitely going to be one. Then I think I'll make one for things like camera batteries and SD cards and things like that, like camera stuff. And then after that, I don't know. I'm sure I'll find other uses for stuff. And as soon as I fill one up, I'll put it in another video and let you know what I do. But until then, that's it. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Hold for plane. Bye.